In 2016, Newt Gingrich told Megyn Kelly that Trump would win. She thought he was crazy and shamed him on her show. He talked about two alternative universes and how the polls were missing what was going on at the grassroots level. Megyn was sure Newt was wrong. But a week later she ended up taking her place among the dead-wrong media elite. By the way, where is Megyn now? This week Newt told Jesse Waters that Trump will win again on November 3rd. We might be wise to listen to him this time. In this segment, we include Saturday's interview with Jesse Waters along with a brief flashback to Newt's prediction on the Megyn Kelly show. Whether you have seen it or not, it is well worth seeing again.
For more now on the state of the 2020 race, I'd like to bring in former Speaker of the House and author of Trump and the American Future, Newt Gingrich. All right, Speaker, so how do you see the election just a few weeks away?
Well, I just want to say, first of all, that was a very good, amazing introduction.
Thank you.
I commend you. That's really well done. I think the election in a couple of weeks, Trump wins. I think we're exactly where we were in 2016. In fact, I just went back and pulled up an interview I did in mid-October with Megyn Kelly in 2016, where she gave me all the standard Washington lines. And I said, yeah, I think you'll carry Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And she clearly thought I was crazy.
Great to see you, Mr. Speaker. Thanks for being here. So
it's good to be back.
I mean, with Cook and many other nonpartisan independent pollsters now saying that the Senate is likely lost to the Republicans, what does that say? I mean, if Donald Trump loses this White House race and the Republicans lose the Senate, does that suggest that the Republicans nominated the wrong candidate at the top of their ticket?
The next 2 weeks are a contest of two parallel universes. I just listened to that report. First of all, I used to hang out with Charlie Cook when he would explain that Donald Trump was hopeless and would not get the nomination. I like Charlie. That doesn't mean he's infallible. But let's take the report we just got. Republicans are actually outvoting Democrats in Florida. They're outvoting Democrats in Pennsylvania. That's unprecedented. They've cut the Democratic lead.
You predict a win in Pennsylvania?
I think they might.
Really? You think Trump's going to win Pennsylvania?
Look, all I can report to you right now is they're outvoting the Democrats in early voting, which is also true in Florida, which is unprecedented.
But all of the polls in Pennsylvania have her winning.
What?
All of the polls in Pennsylvania have her ahead.
I know. I just told you we have two alternative universes right now. In Iowa, for example, the Democrats are 50,000 votes behind where they were with Barack Obama in turnout. The governor is very confident we're going to carry Iowa, which Obama carried last time. I can just carry you through case after case like this. In Minnesota, we're almost certainly going to win the congressional seat up around Duluth, which is a very Democratic area, but it deeply dislikes Hillary Clinton. And represent now.
But let me just ask you. Let me just ask you, because you say it's two alternate universes. I mean, these are sort of small examples of how he might be heading early voting and so on. But I'm telling you that the Fox News decision desk just moved Iowa, that you just mentioned, Indiana, 2nd Congressional District in Maine. All of them moved left, moved more likely to vote for Hillary Clinton. And in fact, all of the moves that have been on this map over the past 3 weeks by Larry Sabato, by Cook, by the Fox News decision desks, these are nonpartisan outlets that are just trying to call the electoral
scoreboard. They're not nonpartisan outlets. Every outlet you described is part of the establishment.
Fox News, really? Are we? I don't think so.
Oh,
and every state they've moved it to the left, towards Hillary. And you tell me whether that's all made up.
No, I think they're two alternative universes. You have a poll which suggests that she's going to get a Barack Obama turnout among African Americans. I don't think that's going to happen. You have a Washington Post ABC News poll where they took out 8% of the vote because they didn't like the way it voted. Look, I've been around long enough. I remember when the Detroit Liberal newspaper on the Sunday before the election said John Engler would lose by 14 points. He won the governorship that year. So we just got a poll in today from Trafalgar, which is the most accurate poll in the last two elections. They now show Trump carrying Arizona by about 5 points. They show him carrying Ohio. I think a lot of things are moving in the right direction. And I think to the point you started with, there are two ways to look at this. Back when the Chinese virus first showed up, the estimates were we could lose 2,200,000 Americans. president took very decisive action. And you could argue he saved 2 million American lives. And who was on the other side? Oh, Biden, Pelosi, Harris, Cuomo, de Blasio. I mean, all the liberal Democrats thought this was a joke. So you can either say Donald Trump's responsible for 200,000 dead, or with equal honesty, you can say Donald Trump saved over 2 million Americans who are alive today because he took actions that the Democrats were attacking him for. I think that's an example. The other thing that's happening, by the way, that I think is going to keep growing, the first time this campaign, the news media is going after Biden, and it's because he won't say whether or not he's going to pack the Supreme Court.
Right.
And he has a problem. 2/3 of the country is opposed to it, but the 1/3 that likes it happens to be his base.
Yep.
And so he's trying to dance, and for the very first time, I don't know what happened, but for the very first time in the last few days, the news media is actually pushing him to come down and say one way or the other. And I don't think Biden handles that kind of pressure very well.
He doesn't, and he can't straddle that issue very much longer. It looks really awkward when Harris was out there debating Mike Pence, and she danced around it. She played the race card. She lied about Honest Abe. To go back up to what you said, I want to talk about what you said at the top. This is kind of reminiscent of 2016. Sure.
Honest Abe is not the same as Honest Kamala. I just had to get that in. It's just
Honest Kamala, that has quite a ring to it. About 2016, you remember this is after the first debate. And, the polls really didn't start to close. I thought Trump did well there. Then you have Access Hollywood. The Republican establishment starts bailing. You see October polls. He's down 13 points and things like that. RNC running for the hills. It's very similar the way it's lining up today, where, he does get sick, which takes him off the campaign trail. You get these suppression polls where they're oversampling Democrats by double digits and say that Trump's down in Texas and Georgia and things like that. So that gets independents and Senate Republicans a little nervous. And you get these reports in the Times, like people are starting to bail. But then when you look at the enthusiasm on the Trump side and the registration numbers, and the economic numbers, there is a survey out by Gallup that says a majority of Americans, a healthy majority, believes they're better off today than they were 4 years ago. I mean, this is lining up for, again, you have Florida, North Carolina, Ohio, and Arizona in the Republican camp, and then you just got to pick off one of the 4 Rust Belts, and you're over 270.
Well, here are 56 and a 55 number. 56% of the American people, according to Gallup, think they are better off than they were 4 years ago. That's 11 points higher than Obama had in 2012 when he got reelected.
That's a big number.
Higher.
That's a big number.
But here's the second number that I think people are underestimating. 55% of the American people think that Joe Biden has cognitive difficulties. 55% believe he has cognitive. Well, how likely is it when they actually get down to voting that they're going to make a commander-in-chief of somebody who they think probably couldn't stay awake for the whole meeting with Xi Jinping? And I think that's a real problem.
Right. And I believe a majority of voters think that if Biden wins, Kamala Harris is going to be president. And she did not come off well in that debate against Mike Pence. Not only did Mike Pence take her apart on policy, but she did herself damage just by the antics, the facial expressions, the countenance. It was not a mature presentation by Kamala Harris. She wasn't likable. So I think that hurt. And then you combine that with them not answering basic questions about what they're going to do to the court. I don't see this going in a good direction on the issues for them.
Well, let me say about both sides of that debate. I thought Pence was as good as he's ever been.
Me too.
I actually hope the president will watch that debate 2 or 3 times before his next debate. Look at the discipline. Look at the preparation. Mike Pence did a great job. On the other side, the only way I can summarize Kamala Harris is that she is more radical than Hillary Clinton, and she's basically Hillary Clinton without the charm.
right, I'm going to leave it at that. Newt Gingrich.